Hey there, Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, April 16th. Today I want to talk about the upcoming new moon solar eclipse in Aries, and this is the second excuse me, the second Aries new moon in a row. So on March 21st, we also had an Aries new moon that lined up with the spring equinox. It also, if you might recall, fell on the same week as Pluto shifted into Aquarius. So a lot of big themes for that week. And now we have a second Aries new moon. This one is a solar eclipse. And so eclipses are extra potent. They are what happens when the new moon falls on the same plane as the earth and the sun. So we've got some extra alignments all lining up in the same 3 dimensions. And so one line in 3 dimensions, right? All the points in the same plane. And so it kind of, what it does is energetically it opens a gateway. It's like putting a key into a lock. Everything kind of clicks into a place that opens a portal of sorts, allows things to shift, allows energy to move where it may have not been able to move before, and opens us up to possible shifts and changes with the eclipse energy. And then today, I'm choosing the theme of the moment we become our potential. And it's really something that I want to talk about in relation to this particular, the way that this particular new moon eclipse lines up. So not only is it an eclipse, but it's also in a square to Pluto. So Pluto has featured prominently, did feature prominently in the previous new moon because of Pluto's shift from Capricorn into Aquarius. And it's also going to feature prominently in this new moon solar eclipse because it will be in a square 90-degree alignment with the new moon. So this new moon in Aries is in the final degree of Aries, very, very end of the sign of Aries, even the very last minutes of the last degree of Aries. So at the very end of Aries, just before the moon goes into Taurus, and then the sun also goes into Taurus, of course. They're both going to come together in that very, very end of Aries, right before both of them shift into Taurus. And it's in a square 90 degrees to Pluto, which is in very, very early Aquarius. So even though the new moon is in Aries, technically the square is to very, very early Taurus. Everything is lined up so closely that the Pluto square to the new moon is going to be a strong influence, bringing a kind of potency, power, and interestingly enough, when we think of Pluto is about power. It's about empowerment and that process of transformation by which we must let go of old ways of being and transform into a place of rebirth to discover ourselves anew, but more to the point, to bring what has been in the darkness to light so that we can live more in our truth, more in our power, more authentically, more coming from a place of being able to. So what is power, right? Power is the ability to get what we want. It's the ability to generate change. Aries also has to do with our ability to generate results. The fire signs in general are about action and what we do and how we move. And Aries in particular is that energy of life force coming through. It is life force that is the impulse. to act. It is what moves us from within, the instinct, the impulse, the drive, the thing that is causing us to not sit still. It's the thing that is moving us to act and to move and to make choices and to be who we are, right, through living life and being alive and in action. So there's one kind of potency that Aries brings, and that is the energy of movement, of action, of the ability to be active and to impact, to make an impact on the world around us. Many of the ways that Aries reveals, sort of a sense of self, or we talk about selfishness, a focus on the self, our identity. But it's coming from a place where we need to discover who we are through figuring out what we can do and how we can move and what kind of impact we can have on the world. So Aries is that process of discovery. It is how we take risks. It is how we need to take action, and there is no other way to learn some things other than to do them. And so that is what Aries reminds us of. It says, you can't sit here waiting for things to come to you forever. You have to, at some point, do something about it, right? Get up out of your chair or take that next action step, or try something, take a risk. So that is the energy of Aries, and that potency that Aries brings is this idea that we can impact the world around us, that through taking action, through moving on things, making decisions, following our instinct and our impulse, that we can generate results. And that's what potency is, or power. And then Pluto is bringing in during the solar eclipse, which, by the way, is going to be on Wednesday night. Depends on your time zone. It could be just after midnight into Thursday for East Coast time zone. Europe, it'll be on Thursday. But at any rate, just that, that time period, Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, when the exact new moon is, and again, just right before the moon goes into Taurus, and the sun goes into Taurus. So both are forming a square with Pluto. Pluto is putting its influence into this eclipse and saying, you're not going to get away with skating. You're going to have to look deep. You're going to have to ask yourself, what is it to be honest with yourself? What is it to access your truth, to live according to that truth, to be in touch with your truth and where your power is? So it's just really, like, on the surface, if we just looked at an Aries new moon, any Aries new moon, right? Nothing is just an Aries new moon, but they all have their own flavor and character and so on. But we could say about, in general, any Aries new moon, it is about action. It's about setting intentions, planting seeds for the coming cycle, which is what the new moon brings in. And the energy of Aries gives it a quality of action, movement, doing things, trying things, initiating things, new beginnings, good time to start things. And with the Aries new moon, we would want to be clear about what's important to us, because as we take action, we may have things to learn. So we want to make sure that we're on the path of getting where we want to go, even if there are some bumps in the road, even if we make mistakes along the way. So we're taking risks. We may have some learning curves to go through, but we want all of that to be moving us in the direction of the results that we want. So that's why we set intentions. It's an opportunity to really get in touch with what's important to you, why you're doing this, what you really want to experience at the end of it, like what does that feel like? And so as we set intentions, it's a way of getting in touch with ourselves, but also like, you know, kind of owning what we want, right? And you can say it's a way of communicating with the universe and telling the universe what you want, but really what it is it's a way of getting clear within yourself. And that allows you, again, to be in alignment. So when you are taking action, it allows your actions to help propel you in the direction that you want to be going, and not in a direction that is willy-nilly or taking you down a path that's not really where you want to be. So, okay, so that is true in general of any Aries new moon. And then for this one, we're adding the fact that it is an eclipse. And that means, again, that this portal is open. So there's an opportunity for shift. There's an opportunity for transformation, especially with Pluto. So seeing things differently and shifting how you do action, make choices, respond to your own impulses and instincts, you know, getting in touch with what that place of truth is within you and how to act from that place, and maybe noticing some places that have been in the shadow that are getting in your way or not necessarily being in your best interest. And so seeing those, shining the light on those, maybe some old habits and behaviors, patterns, routines that come from the past, right? That maybe served you once in the past, but aren't something that you want to keep doing. So recognizing those things, and this eclipse brings the potential for shift around things that are maybe not in your best interest, maybe not serving your truth and your being your best self. And then so we also have, I really want to acknowledge with this the energy of this eclipse, this very, very late Aries new moon, that what the energy of Taurus is very strong here as well. So with both the sun and the moon shifting immediately into Taurus following the exact new moon, you know, we still have a very close alignment of the sun and the moon as they both go into Taurus. So so as I'm thinking about this, what the image that pops into my mind is, and also remember with late Aries, we're like at a more mature stage of the Aries as we go through the degrees. So with the previous Aries new moon was in 0 degrees Aries. It was very, very, very beginning of not only Aries, but the whole zodiac, right? So previous to that, we had a new moon in Pisces, and the Pisces moon cycle, which Pisces is about surrender. It's about spirituality, but also imagination, right? Connecting with our ability to imagine the future that has not actualized yet, doesn't have a clear pathway yet. And so we have the ability to imagine it. And then once the energies shift into Aries for the previous new moon, and now again for this upcoming new moon, the Aries energy gives us the ability to embody what we've imagined. And so with this sense of actualization, right, we're beginning the process of actualization of what we can imagine, what we can envision, what is our bigger picture of what we want, of, you know, our vision for the future, the results we want. And then Aries is about how we get to move on the ground and discover how we can impact the world around us through our choices, our actions, our ability to do things. And then as we get to the end of Aries and have another new moon, we've got the energy of like, okay, it's more mature now. It's less fresh. There's still the energy of Aries, the energy of movement, of action, of decision making, of starting new things, initiation. But it's more, there's more of a sense of having learned some things about that area of life and how we do things. And so where we're shifting now as we step into this cusp between Aries and Taurus, it's an ingress in astrology when a planet changes signs. So the ingress into Taurus is very close to the exact new moon, brings this sense of completion of the Aries action as we shift into the actualization of Taurus. And so Taurus is the earth energy. It is the energy of connecting to the earth, but also how we embody things, how we discover, oh gosh, I noticed I could move and do things, and now I notice I'm in a body and my body has needs. I get hungry, I feel cold, I want shelter. And that's where we lead down the road of Taurus being about resources and paying the bills. And it's really about the rhythms of nature, but it's also about physicality. So as we shift from Aries to Taurus, which this new moon is really in so many ways about that shift, the image that comes into my mind is like, have you ever had to run to catch a bus or a train? It's like that. Here's the train and it's starting to move, and you got to run and run and run and get on the train, or the bus is trying to pull away, and you want to get there before it leaves. And all of that energy is going into your momentum, your action, your like putting the ATP from your cells into action and getting your muscles moving and catching that bus or that train. And then that moment. So that's like late Aries. It's like, okay, I know what to do now. I just have to do and get there and push myself as hard as I can. And then you get on the bus or the train and you sit down. Okay, so now this is Taurus land. Now you're sitting. It's about your body. Your body's in a seat. You've stopped moving. And now you have to assess where you are. Okay. First you're processing the fact that you made it, right? Okay, now this is a new reality. Now I'm stepping into this embodiment, this actualization of the thing I was trying to do, to accomplish. Now I'm here. Another analogy might be a sports game, right? Where you're fighting, working as hard as you can, and then boom, the game is over. You either won or you lost, but whatever happened, it's done. It's complete now. The result has been set, in, if not in stone, in something, right? So it's that moment when you have the experience of, okay, the action is over, and now what comes next? What does it look like next? What do I do with, and it's really about that process of shifting from the action and the moment of pushing to the realization of where you are, of what has happened, of what it means. And then, eventually you'll get to, what do I do about it? What comes next? What do I need to think about next? But really for this moment, the ingress into Taurus is really about, and the 0-degree Taurus point is really about that recognition, or the dawning recognition, really, of where you have landed. What happened? What was the result of the pushing, and the trying, and the running toward the train feeling. So what I want to say about all of that, and so the theme, right? This is some deep stuff. But the theme for today is the moment we become our potential. And it's really that, like, that dawning realization of, what does it mean? What does it look like for me to actually now embody what I have imagined, what I put in motion, what I chose for myself, what I went for when I took actions, took risks. And again, the result, may or may not look like what you wanted it to or hoped for, but regardless, it doesn't matter, because you're here now and this is what it is. And so it's part acceptance. But again, it's really the dawning of this realization. So you may not have acceptance yet. It's that moment of experience, of sitting in the seat and slowing down your breath from the heavy breathing and the hard pushing and the hard running. And so I think for this solar eclipse with the energy of Pluto, there's something about how we have been pushing, how we have been trying really hard, how we have been putting all of our efforts and energies into something, and how we can do that in the very best way possible in that moment, right? In that moment when we're running toward the train. And so it's kind of like a training for ourselves, right? Like training for a marathon, right? We're training to do the things we need to do, but also we're preparing ourselves to get into that seat, that result that we want, and have that experience of having the drive, the determination, the impulse, the passion, the power that we have lead us to where we want to be. And so how we can direct, how we can be at choice as we're thinking about the effort we're putting into things. Now, I don't want you to think that so I always talk about, right, how a new moon sets a tone for the whole month. I don't want you to feel like you're going to be running to catch the train the entire month. It's not that so much. It's more like, how are you choosing to put your energies, your effort, your intentions, your drive, your ability, your potency is your ability to act and to make an impact. So it's more about choosing it wisely, choosing it with a sense of direction, rather than just running. Like, what are you running toward? What are you creating? And again, I want to emphasize, you don't have to be in fight or flight mode constantly. That's not what I'm saying. It's more like the actions that you are doing, the daily actions, the activity, the ways that you are taking action steps, moving things forward, making decisions. How are you and how can you be doing those in a way that will give it direction, will give it purpose, will give it meaning, and so that you can enjoy it while you're doing it. Make it fun. And spontaneity and directness can be fun, right? It's kind of acting on instinct, acting on impulse, but also kind of doing this dance with yourself, with the daily life of, what am I going to do today? Does that feel good? How can I make choices that feel good and fun and also move things forward? And giving some intentionality, some energy and time to choosing how you are putting energy into things and what those things are moving you toward. Because if you're not thinking about what you want, you could be aligning yourself unconsciously with things you don't want. So choosing on purpose, recognizing that your energies, your efforts, your actions, your activities can all be something that is supporting your power, your empowerment, your ability to actualize the things that you can imagine and envision. And so the moment you become your potential, what does that feel like? And imagine yourself, right? And let your actions lead you to that place. Let your choices, if you're facing a decision, you're not sure what decision to make, which one does your which one makes your body feel the most happy? So if you kind of can close your eyes and imagine both decisions, right? Which one feels open, free, right, true, which one does your body say yes to? So kind of following some instinct that way, and then trusting that whatever is unfolding is your way of doing it. It may not be somebody else's way of doing it. It may not be what you've been told or what your expectations say about the way you should do it, but could be your way to do it. So finding those instincts, those impulses that are true for you, and how you are taking action and what you are putting your efforts in, how you're putting effort into things that are important to you, how you're spending your time, and most importantly, your energy. So what is your energy going into? And how can you put some intention into that? Even if you're putting energy into, maybe you don't have any choice, right? Maybe you have to go to work and you have to do things you don't want to do. So imagine, what would it feel like if these things that you're doing were actually taking you in the direction of what you want to go, where you want to be, and play with that, right? Play with that idea. It helps to shake up your thinking, open up possibility, and maybe some more clarity will emerge from that. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that makes sense. I hope I haven't stressed you out. I just want to think about this solar eclipse as being a time of shifting how we're thinking about our energy, what we're putting our energy into, and what kinds of thoughts are behind that. Those efforts and activities that we're doing, are they positive thoughts? Are they thoughts of belief in ourselves and belief in possibility, even though it may not look like what we think it should look like? Are we willing to discover a new door opening, a new possibility, a new opportunity? Because it can literally show up at any time out of the blue. So letting those things unfold in the ways that they want to unfold, and putting some intention into how you are using your energy, what you're putting it into, and how those efforts can be coming out in the form of something that feels good, something that you can see, taste, touch, feel, and recognize. So embodiment, stepping into this realization of what you have been imagining, and how do your efforts, your actions go into creating that and making that happen. And so, yeah, if you're running toward the bus, right, all of your energy is going toward that bus. So you got to know what it is you're going for, where you're headed, why you're headed there, what's important about it, and that will help get all of the parts of you moving in the same direction. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I am Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. Right now, I do still have my offer of 5 sessions working with me in depth. 5 sessions for $500, which is a significant savings over an individual session. And what's wonderful is that in the course of 5 sessions, we can really dive deep into what is going on in your life, how your chart gives insight into that, how we can work with that, how you can understand yourself, what's showing up in your life, and how it's an invitation to learn more and respond differently, and discover how you can be an active force in creating your life the way you want, with some ideas that maybe haven't occurred to you yet that your chart can help you access. So that's how it works. It's not a miracle drug, right? It means you have to do some work too, but it just can really accelerate that process by getting these insights from your chart that show how you're made up. What is your natural way of doing things? What is going to help you to move forward, not your neighbor, not anybody else, but you. So that's the great thing about astrology and natal charts, and what we can dive into if you choose to work with me over the course of 5 sessions. So that is available at astrologyheals.com. On my homepage, there is an offer for that package of 5 sessions. I'll also try to remember to put the link here. Sometimes I forget, but I'll do my best. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here and listening, and let me know what you think. I love to hear your thoughts, and I will be here. I am here every day with the astrology of unshakable self-care, self-understanding, and understanding what's going on in the energies around us so we can make the most of it. All right. Thanks for being here. I will see you next time. Bye for now.